Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I've had this request in the past before for doing a video, but I wanted to wait until I had my next couple appointments I had set, but a lot of people recently anyway have been asking me to do the tattoo tag, so I figured it's about time I do this tag since it has been requested probably more than any other video there is out there, and I got a couple of requests recently, so I was like, let's just do it. So anyways, yeah, we're just going to get started into this, and I'm just going to start off by saying, with tattoos, I have the full belief that your tattoos don't have to have some deep, whole nother level meaning where it's like the closest thing to your heart. And yes, I understand some people have tattoos that have a very deep meaning to them. Some of mine do, and some of mine are just because I love the artwork and I love the artists' stuff that they did, and I had them create a tattoo for me. So it really just, I see it more as artwork than I do as necessarily having to have a sentimental meaning. But anyways, I just wanted to put that out there before we got all into this biz here. So we're just going to go ahead and get right into my tattoos here. So my first tattoo that I ever got was this script that I have right here on my right forearm, and this says, "I am enough the way I am." This is I got this one because this has been my life quote for a very long time, and I guess growing up, I went through a lot of different things. I was really fat as a kid, and then I got really anorexic skinny, and I had a lot of health problems in there, and I just never felt like I was enough in a lot of situations. So when I found this quote back, I want to say in middle school, it really stuck with me that there's a lot of crap that happens in the world, and nobody's perfect, but you're enough the way you are, and you're not going to be perfect at everything, and that's all right. And that really just stuck with me. This one will forever and always be my favorite tattoo because it was my first tattoo, and it does have a lot of meaning to me. This is my one tattoo that's has meaning to it. Anyway, so I had this one first, and you can tell I'm a hairdresser because I've got color spots all over my arm from where I massacred myself with some color the other day. But that was my first one, and then my second one was the shears that I have on the inside of my forearm here, and it was the same artist that did both of these. This is Garrett, and I will put his Instagram below. I'll put all my artists' Instagram below. So I have tattoos from all different states, so depending on where you are in America, if they're close to you, there you go, you got an artist. So this one right here, as if you guys don't know, which most of you probably do, that I'm a hairdresser, and I've been a hairdresser and been in the industry for about 4 years, and I got this tattoo after starting my first job, and it was kind of like my gift to myself in a way. So I just wanted something that looked very antique. I like vintage things a lot, and I wanted it to look very elegant, and I wanted some geometric design behind it, and Garrett does a great job with things like that. So it's got almost a little bit of a gothic style to it, and I love this tattoo. And he did a little bit of white ink in there. You can't really see it because I'm so freaking pale, but there is a little bit of white ink inside of this one. So those are my first two. My third one was my girl up here, and it's actually funny because how I found this artist, I had been following him on Instagram for a while, and I saw somebody's tattoos on, in the salon I worked at. I was like, oh my gosh, I love your artwork, who did your stuff? She gave me his Instagram, and I've been following him ever since. Well, it turns out, I was going to get a tattoo by him. Turns out he is the ex-husband of my coworker, and I didn't know that until we started talking about where I go to get my tattoos, and I thought it was the funniest thing ever. But anyways, so his name is Aldo. He owns a tattoo shop in downtown Indy, and it's called Grand Union. I'll put his stuff down below as well. And he's actually done a lot of my tattoos. So this was my third tattoo, first one by Aldo, and this one, I don't know, I saw a picture that was very similar to this off of Pinterest, and I just thought it was really pretty. It was kind of like the whole, like, there's beauty in the unseen kind of a thing, and I like how he made it more of a traditional style. Definitely traditional is my favorite kind of tattoo there is, but he did like a nice little lotus flower with a moth on it, and I just think it's really cool. So, yeah, that was kind of my first tattoo that didn't really have a whole lot of meaning. It was just I really thought the design was really pretty, and he did a bomb-ass job on it. I still like this tattoo a lot, so, Okay, so that was my third tattoo. Let me think, what was my fourth tattoo? My fourth tattoo, so it was my sternum. A lot of you guys haven't seen this unless you follow me on Instagram, but I'll stand up so I can show you. But it's this guy right here. This, how I found, this is neo-traditional style, so I have a mandala down here, and then these are all neo-traditional flowers. This tattoo, I found this artist very roundabout way. She's from Siberia, and she came over here as a guest artist to Miami, and when she was going to go back to Siberia, she ended up marrying her boyfriend, so she was able to stay, and he was from Marion, Indiana, so actually how I found her stuff was through somebody else on Instagram. She tattoos, and she lives in like Minnesota or Wisconsin or something like that. She lives like nowhere near here, and she was posting about getting a tattoo, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to stalk your artist page here, and turns out she was in Marion, Indiana by that point, and I was like, that's like an hour and a half away from me. Like, I can totally drive that. So I hit her up, and she created a really pretty design for me, and we sized up a couple different things, and I kind of let her have creative freedom with the colors. But I really like how it turned out. Like, it's definitely one of my favorites. I'm a very short person, so this covers like most of my stomach area, but mostly my sternum. But on a pain scale, oh, I forgot to talk about pain scale. So pain scale, this one was not bad at all. This one, when it came to like this area here, like that inside, like closer to your elbow, that hurt a little bit, but it really wasn't that bad overall. This one was pretty easy peasy until he got to like right here, closer to the armpit. I bruised pretty bad right here when he tattooed this, but it really wasn't too horrible. Now my sternum, I don't know why I chose to do this to myself all in one sitting. So this one took 5.5 hours. I did this one straight through because I was like, I know how bad this hurts. I will not come back to get this finished if we don't finish it today. So I sat through 5.5 hours of her tattooing this. It was so painful. And it could just be because I'm small and I don't have a whole lot of like extra material in that area. Like, pretty much it's bone, and then I've got like muscle, and then I've got like my actual like sternum. But like right here in the tattoo, like this center flower right here, that was the most pain I'd ever experienced. Like, that was awful. I was like, just breathe through it. Just breathe through it. After this, like, you'll survive. And healing process, it didn't take these too long to heal, but like this one it was all right. This one took maybe like 2.5 weeks. This one, on the other hand, my sternum, it took about a month to feel like normal. The first 2 weeks I could barely like inhale and bend back, like it was like that painful. I don't know if that's the same for everybody, but that's how it was for me. So I hope I never ever have to get that touched up, because I probably won't do it because that was terrible. Anyways, worth it though. I love my tattoo. I never have to do it again. So if you're thinking about getting a sternum tattoo first, don't get a different tattoo, because not all of them hurt that bad. Or get that one first because you know it's the most painful tattoo you can get and you'll be fine. But anyways, everybody's different. That one just really sucked for me. So I got that one. And then next tattoo I got, for my birthday, I gave myself a birthday present for a tattoo. But I got my fern leaf right here. Now, I love ferns. I think that they're very pretty, elegant plants. I like the detail that there is in them. And I I've always wanted to have a fern leaf tattoo. I was like, why not? Let's do it right here. So I had to curve it a little bit around my arm to fill in a little bit of space. So that way I could fit something right here and I could like tie in something through here. But I wanted it to kind of fill out and not look so straight. So he did a really good job wrapping it around my forearm here. But this one didn't really have a lot of meaning when I made the appointment, but I was going through a lot of life changes when I got this tattoo, and it turns out that fern leaves mean like new beginnings and like a new start. So I was like, oh, that's actually kind of perfect. So I didn't intentionally have meaning behind this until I was going through everything, and I just was curious because I was like, some person is going to ask me what this tattoo means, because that happens to everybody with tattoos. If you got tattoos, you know. You'll get asked what your tattoos mean all the freaking time, and I think that is the stupidest question ever. But anyways, so this fern leaf tattoo, I was like, let's just Google it so I can have some stupid shit to tell somebody. And turns out it actually did end up having meaning, so good thing I Googled it. But anyways, yeah, so that one kind of has meaning behind it. It was unintentional, but it's there. And then I also got this tattoo here. It says fear nothing. I got matching tattoos with my sister. She got hers in Arabic. I was like, I'm getting mine in English. I want to be able to read mine and know exactly what this says to make sure I don't have like some lunch menu tattooed on my arm. So I got mine in like a vintage typewriter kind of a style, and I actually have to get this touched up because my arm was pissed and it did not want to take the ink right there. So I have to get it touched up a little bit. But yeah, I like it. It fills in a little bit of that space. I was like, can we get this as close to like this little crevice here but not getting in it, so I can like fill up that area without actually having to tattoo that, because I hear this spot is not too fun. And I was like, I'm not ready for that right now, so let's just keep it a little higher. But anyway, so that was the next tattoo I got. Then I was like, you know, I've drawn a couple of my tattoos and kind of ideas behind what I wanted. Turns out we totally redid what I wanted to do on my forearm. So I'm halfway done with my sleeve that I've got going on here. I originally wasn't going to do this in color. I was going to do this in black and white. And originally it was going to be flowers of like daisies, sunflowers, and roses. But he said that it would not blend as well, and he said it would look a lot better if we did more like rounded flowers with pointier leaves versus pointy on both. So in order for it to all blend a little bit better, we did more of this design to it. So I've got 2 peonies, which are the yellow flowers, and then I've got 3 roses. So I've got this one, and the one on my hand. Now, also, I did all of these in one sitting because I'm a crazy person, and this is how I apparently like to get tattooed, is I sit down, I'm like, all right, I'm going to be here for 5 hours, let's get comfortable. So I did the outline, the shading, the color, and everything in one sitting. This tattoo, pain scale for this one, after getting my sternum tattooed, it puts in perspective other places you get tattooed. So I wouldn't say this was crazy painful. Like, this one wasn't bad. This one really wasn't bad, this flower. By the time we went for like color on these two, my arm was pretty pissed because this area is a lot more tender, the inside of your forearm. So if I would have just stopped after like the outlining and like shading, I'd have been fine, but it was definitely, I was feeling this hardcore by the time he got to color. And he's like, you know, I was like, here's my thing. I'm like, we don't have to do this all in one sitting, but I do know I don't want to heal my hand twice, so I want my hand to be done. So he's like, why don't we do your hand last then, so you sit through it all? I was like, you're kidding me? That was so mean. But anyways, so we did my hand last, and that was not fun to heal at all. I looked like the Pillsbury Doughboy. My hand was so swollen, like my knuckles were bubbled up and like folded over. Like, it was bad. I don't know if everybody swells and bruises as easily as I do when I get tattooed, but like, I'm swollen, I'm bruised, like, it's not pretty until after it's healed. But this one, honestly, the only parts that were like not fun at all was right here. The rest of it, I mean, yes, it was pretty painful, but it was the healing part that was worse on this one, I would have to say. But it's not too bad. So we've got more to do in the outline and background of this, but we wanted to get the main pieces done so it wouldn't look like a half-done sleeve, and we could fill in the rest later. So sometime before the end of this year, I'm going to fill it in with like different branches and vines, and I'm thinking about maybe putting a snake in the background. I don't know. I'm going to kind of see his thoughts on that. We're kind of playing this whole half sleeve by ear, but we'll figure it out. It'll be cool in the end. So yeah, I got that one done, and then on my trip to New York, and that was also done by Aldo. So this one, my fern, this, and this were all done by Aldo. So like I said, all of his stuff will be in the description box for you guys. Then when I went to New York, I was like, you know, I'm going by myself. Let's make this fun. And so I was like, I want to get tattooed in Brooklyn and I want to get tattooed in New York because I'm trying to get tattooed everywhere where I visit. So that way I can have a travel log of all the places I've been on my body. And I'll have a story behind how I got all of them. Not necessarily what they all mean to me, but where I got them and the people I met. So the first guy that I went to was in Brooklyn, and I'll get his Instagram up. So the guy that I went to was at Magic Cobra Tattoo Society in Brooklyn, and I had Joe tattoo me. He's only there on Sundays, so he's not there very often, but that was the day I was there, and he's awesome and killer at script. So I chose him to do my tattoos. I wanted more of like the gothic style writing above my knees. So I'll stand up and kind of figure out how I can show you guys. I'm going to stand on my chair. Probably not a great idea because it's a chair that turns, but we'll figure it out. Cool, so you can kind of see what's happening here. I feel like I'm going to fall off this. But these were the tattoos that I got done by Joe. So these actually really weren't too painful at all. They say perfectly imperfect, and I had him kind of make me a custom script for this, and I had him shade. He was like, you know, these would look really cool if we had them like fade to like from dark to like light. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, I trust you. And they turned out really cool. He did a great job on them. I have no complaints. His line work is awesome. So if you're in Brooklyn and you're looking for somebody to do your script tattoo, I will have his info in the description box for you. And he's also in like Connecticut or something else. Like, he works in 2 different places. I'm like, you're crazy. But yeah, I'll put that in the description box for you guys. Anywho, so the next day I was there. I was like, you know, I want to get a tattoo in like Midtown. So I'm somebody who researches the shit out of my tattoo artists. Like, I look up, especially if I'm going to a different city, like I look up online like different traditional tattoo shops. I'll find them on Instagram. I'll look at all their artists. I'll look at all their shading, and I'll find somebody who does the style of tattoo that I want well, or I'll find somebody who does a certain thing well, and I'll figure out a tattoo that I want them to do. So I always try to make my artwork match my artist, so that way I'm not asking them to do something that's not their specialty. So that is how I chose all of my people. So next day I was there. I don't know why I chose to get my knees tattooed in New York. Is probably the dumbest decision ever because I could barely walk after, so I was like limping around. I was like, I look homeless, but it's fine. So I went to this guy named Greg, pretty cool dude. All the people that I've gotten tattooed by are really cool, to be totally honest. Like, it's one of my favorite parts about getting tattooed is like talking to cool people. But his name is Greg, and he works at Red Rocket Tattoo in Midtown, and he did my rose on my knee here. If I can stand back up and you can see it. But this sucker, I would have to say, would be one of my most painful tattoos. This little area right here, this made me want to kill him. But other than that, this whole thing really, really sucked to get done, and I really am very glad I won't ever have to get that done again. But he did a dope job on it. He designed it. I wanted it to be traditional style rose, and he did a killer job on it. And what was great is because it was such a painful tattoo, and I knew I was going to be there for so long, he worked quickly, but he was very chill about it and like talked me through the whole thing. And I was just like trying to breathe and not die. I was like sweating to death. I was like, I'm not enjoying this one bit, but it'll look awesome when it's done. So just know when you go to get your knees tattooed, that shit is not fun. But really, the most painful ones I've gotten the most painful places I've gotten tattooed are honestly my knee and my sternum. In my hand. Other than that, they're really not too bad. I suck it up and get over it. But I have a pretty high pain tolerance. So if you don't have a high pain tolerance, tattooing might not be for you. But anyways, so I just went to Nashville this past weekend and I got tattooed there as well by a girl named Nia. Her work is awesome. She's originally from Hawaii, but then she worked in New York and now she is in Nashville. Her work is awesome. She's a traditional tattoo artist and she did the one on the inside of my bicep here. It is a compass with 2 roses next to it, and I had her do this in black and white because I am keeping this whole arm black and white just for like aesthetic purposes. I don't know. I like this. I like how it's rolling, so I'm like, we'll just stick with it. But she did a great job, and this was the first time I'd ever had a rotary machine used on me. So there's the coil and the rotary. The coil is the one that's really loud. She did my outline with that, and then she used the rotary for the shading. And it was the first time I'd ever had that used, and I really enjoyed that. My tattoo was healed very well. Like, it only peeled for like 2 days, and yeah, it's still healing because it's inside of a week, or I guess it's just now a week, but I haven't had a whole lot of itching with it. It hasn't been hurting as much as my other ones. So I really like the rotary machine. I may see if somebody can use that in the future on me, but I know not every artist uses it because it's got a learning curve. So some people stick with a coil because that's what they know. So it really just depends on the artist you go to. And I didn't even know she was going to use a rotary machine until she used it, but I liked it. Anyway, so yeah, she did an awesome job on that. The detail is ridiculous. So I'll also have her stuff in the description box for you guys. Anyways, so that is all the tattoos that I have right now. I know that this is a long video, and I don't even know how many I have. I think I've got like 13, something like that. Anyways, so as I get tattooed more, if you guys want updated ones, just let me know. If you start to see more tattoos pop up on my body and you're like, hey, like, let's do another one, just let me know. But in the meantime, this is all I have right now. And hopefully, if you're in any of the areas I've been tattooed, you can find an awesome tattoo artist because all of them are pretty awesome. And tell them that I sent you because that'd be cool. Anyways, so yeah, if you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up as well as comment down below what else you guys want to see. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a beat or anything I got coming out. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!